Welcome friends to another Expanse video. There will be spoilers in this for Sins of the Father, so go away now if you don't want to know. 3, 2, 1. Sins of the Father is about Philip Inaros, or Philip Nagata, as he is now known. We'll examine what he does in this last short story and discuss the influence his mother and father has left on him. Let's get straight into it. The first sign of the monsters was their call, fluted, subsonic tremors. The people in town felt it, the movement. They would aim for the breach in the perimeter wall they had made before. The town had 436 people and is on the planet Beta, and it was cut off with the destruction of the ring gates. Philip Nagata was scared. He guided the monsters away with lights, but one gets into town. Jandro takes care of it with a titanium spike after they salvage what they can from the damage the monsters have done to the town. Philip and Moses are asked to a town meeting. They are subcontractors and not permanent people here. Moses clings to the union rules despite them being cut off. Philip plays nice to give the impression he is no threat, but still shows he disagrees. Philip then goes to the meeting and notes he still carries anger. His father was a terrible man and he helped him. At the meeting, they decide to move the town away from the creature's area. Later, Philip hears a man called Leward say to two construction crew, "Don't take that." Philip sees they are taking away a handcart belonging to Science belonging to Leward. Leward tries to yank it back, and one of the men on maintenance says the cart is with them. Leward is pushed over. Philip steps in, getting the maintenance crew's attention with a sharp, "Hey." Philip says there are rules under the union. He might have to come and take their tools without asking. If he did that, how would they feel? As the violence comes near, Philip is not scared, he wanted it. As a child he recalls the deaths he saw around him. But Jandro talks down his crew and says to Philip, "You got balls, Nagata," and they go back to work. He says someone needs to address the worker issue, but not him. He says she doesn't understand him, and then he says, "Men like him," he started then stopped. "My father was like that, strong, certain. People loved him and wanted him to love them. They wanted to have even a tiny piece of his confidence, if they could. It made them do terrible things so that he would notice them." Maybe talking about himself here. Nami says parents can pass on burdens to their kids. Later Moses questions him, getting involved. Philip says, "I know men like Jandro. People are scared and they're hurting, and some big man comes along and he seems confident. Everyone falls in line behind him." Mose says they stay out of local drama. Philip says, "We both know there's no union behind you anymore, and don't mistake me for one of the gentle locals, Koyo." Namive later gets the people together to talk. Jandro, his crew, Philip and Leward. Jandro asks Philip if he has ever fought. Philip confirms he has. Jandro says he will get his crew to apologise and return the cart Leward wanted. Later Moses apologises and says to Philip that he was right. The union are not coming. Philip wonders, with them being cut off, what will happen if they mess things up, carry on like people always have, the same thing. Make everything here into more of the stuff that got us here. That seems worse for me. That's worse. Philip goes to see Jandro and his crew, perhaps thinking that he does not want these people to mess things up, and feeding on that violence he has in him from his childhood. The Marcus part of him, will call it, the part that wants it. Philip says he would like to clear the air. He gives Jandro a capacitor from the yeast tanks. The guy doesn't understand. Philip says to open the back plate and it discharges like a gun. Jandro is badly hurt. Philip says it kills monsters. The crew grab him and throw him into a cell. A little of his mother's smart engineering there mixed with his father. Namives comes and says Jandro is now dead. Philip is a murderer. Philip insists it had to be done and no one else was going to do it. Some of his father's arrogance or ego there. He says she failed to stand up to Jandro. He got away with it. What did a man like that do? If he wasn't stopped, he would keep pushing. Philip says he will be punished for his actions by her. She says she does not know people like him and says that Philip is desperate to be punished for something. Philip says Jandro would have taken over from her here. She concedes that with a maybe. Clearly Philip has some self-hate here from the actions under his father. She excels Philip. She gives him some gear to live on. She says in 5 years, if he lives, he can ask to rejoin them. Maintenance crew will want him dead for that long. And she says he can come back if he understands his choice to kill Chanjo was wrong. Philip sets about making camp, and the book ends with this. At sunset, the stars came out, the great smear of the galactic disk, the universe that humankind had once been heir to and then lost. Now just a light show and a promise, or a hope. In the distance, the monsters began to sing. Now think about what you've listened to here. Do you agree with Philip's actions? Who do you think was a bigger influence, his mother or his father? I personally would say, because of the amount of time that he spent with him and how Marco Inaros' influence is really shown in Philip in this story, I would say that his father was actually a bigger influence overall in the story, and his mother towards the end perhaps. Have you started a new life after the ring gates fell? Comment down below.